Hello, this is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com, and today we're going to speak about the Axis Manufacturing Upper Receiver. Now, this is a very new company to me. They're a company that was following me on Instagram for quite a while, and I reached out to them. I said, what do you guys have to offer? I'd love to be able to see some of the products that you guys have. And they said, we actually have a complete upper receiver that you're able to check out. So why don't you give us your input on that upper receiver? And I said, for sure, I'd love to be able to see it. So they sent me this upper receiver, and I asked them, I said, do you mind sending me a spec sheet of this upper receiver so I can make sure I'm giving the right information about the upper? And that's when the first thing about this company hit me is they manufacture this entire thing in-house. This is a really nice upper receiver, but the entire thing is manufactured by them. So their branding and marketing is all over this upper because they're the ones who actually made it. So that was something that was very cool to me. And a side note to this, something that I think is very important to specifically mention is their customer service is incredible. Now, I'm saying that specifically because specifically in 2020, we've had a lot of issues with companies we thought were great companies or have great customer service. And because of the pandemic and because of all the chaos that's been happening, their customer service showed very much to be lacking. So when I see kind of a family-run company that has excellent customer service, I think that's something very specifically worthwhile to mention. So I really appreciate all the people that were working there and helped me go through the process of making sure this was set up properly. It's something that I think is very cool. On top of that, it's also very cool to see when a company knows what they're good at and what they're not good at, or what they're not ready to release yet. So what I mean by that is that, again, this whole upper receiver is made by them. So their charging handle, the upper part of the receiver, the rail, and the muzzle brake is all them. The one thing that I didn't mention there is the barrel. They knew that they're maybe not at the stage right now to make high quality barrels, but they didn't want to put a low quality product in something that they worked so hard to actually manufacture. With all that being said, the barrel that they have on the inside is from Ballistic Advantage, which is a very known company for quality barrels. So having put all this together, this is a very nice quality setup for what you're getting, especially for the cost. So I'm going to run down through the parts and just speak about what's on this upper receiver and what you can expect to get from getting this upper, which again, I think is really, really nice. So starting from the front of the rifle, this is one of their in-house made muzzle brakes. It is the 3XC muzzle brake. It is a really nice 3-port muzzle brake with 2 smaller ports on top, and it looks menacing. It looks like a very, very effective muzzle brake. But what's crazy to me is that in comparison to other muzzle brakes I currently have on some of my rifles, this actually comes in to be shorter than what you'd expect it to be. So when I first saw a picture of this, I said that's going to probably extend the length of this 16-inch barrel far beyond what I'd want it to be. And I'd wanted to try to keep this barrel as short as possible within obviously the legalities. So when I received it and actually saw the size of it, it's actually pretty impressive. So with the size and weight of this muzzle brake, it actually looks bigger than it is, but it still happens to be extremely effective while maintaining a very small profile, which I thought was very cool. The barrel under this rail is a 16-inch Ballistic Advantage barrel. It is a mid-length gas system, which I've come to very much love. I really like the mid-length gas system. And it's a government profile barrel, which means you could really be using this pretty hard without the worry of any kind of what's called impact shift with the barrel heating up, which again, I think is very nice. The style of the rail is fully M-LOK all the way around. The top is completely enclosed. There's no railing on top, only at the end, which makes it nice for if you want to mount a front sight and then things along the side. Most people are not using this part anyway. I like it because if you're using kind of the C-clamp grip, you're able to have your hand over without touching any rail that could cut your hand or having any other space, which you might add unnecessary parts to the rifle. So yeah, this rail is made by them. It has their branding here on the right side of the gun. On the left side, it has the American flag put onto the side, which again, I do like. And the mounting to the actual upper is very solid. There's 3 screws over here that hold it in place. And I've done a lot to abuse this upper so far, which I'm kind of ashamed to admit, but this has stayed perfectly in line and I haven't had any issues with this loosening up to any extent, which I think is very cool. The upper part of the upper receiver, they do have the forward assist, if that's, I know, a debated topic for those who do or do not like it. And something that's on the inside of this rifle, which I think is very cool, is they're also in-house made bolt carrier group, which again is really cool that that's all being made in-house. The charging handle is also a pretty standard kind of mil-spec style charging handle made by them as well. And let's now take a look at the bolt carrier group to get a better understanding of how that's put together. So here is the bolt carrier group of the rifle, and a few things you want to be very careful about when you get a new rifle is, first of all, to make sure that it's oiled properly before you go to the range. A lot of times we had students that came to a rifle class and their gun was bone dry, and that's just not ideal. Yeah, technically it could run, but that's not good for your gun long term. It's just like driving a car without any oil in it. Yeah, it could run, but you really don't want to do that. It'll damage it. What was interesting is that this actually came oiled from the factory. I'm not sure if that's something that's standard for all that they did. I re-oiled it just to make sure that it was really giving it its fair shot, but it actually came oiled, which was really cool. And another thing you want to be able to monitor is if it was staked or not. So staking is, if you look at these two screws right over here, there's kind of indentations that make sure that the screws that are there don't rotate out of place and then end up causing malfunctions for the rifle. So this came staked, again, from the factory, which I think is beautiful. And overall, this is a very nice, high quality bolt carrier group, which is alone something that a lot of people have to pay a lot extra money for when they get one. They really want to make sure that it's giving them, like, you know, the best performance that they can out of the rifle. So from the factory, having a very nice quality bolt carrier group I think is very valuable, and this shows that it's going to be something that will last for quite a while. So just to make sure I've touched on all the points that I think are valid for this rifle, that I think are very important. When you get the rifle, it's going to come with a standard A2 birdcage. I got, as an addition to the A2 birdcage, I removed it and put a compensator because the state that I live in requires that you're not allowed to have a A2 flashlight, or you have to have some form of compensator, which fine. So that came, it was called that. What came with the rifle is the A2, but you could always upgrade, and what they offer is this 3-port muzzle brake, which I think is great. This rail is a 15-inch slim handguard. Again, it's all M-lock. The upper receiver is a 7075 T6 upper, which again, I think is very high quality for what you're getting. And then the charging handle is also a 7075 T6 aluminum charging handle. It's kind of a standard, which a lot of people might end up upgrading. But again, from the factory, getting that is very nice. The barrel is a ballistic advantage, 16-inch government profile barrel. It has a 1-in-7 twist, which I think is great because a lot of people will like to use higher grain bullets if you want to get more precision out of it. And that's kind of been a standard for a lot of people, just to use the 1-in-7 twist rate. So the muzzle brake, again, is the 3XC brake. It actually weighs only 3 ounces, which I think is very nice, and is black oxide coating. It has the coating on top of it. And again, just as an overview for this rifle, I'm going to do a lot more testing with this and want to get much more footage with this kind of setup in action. It's something that I think is going to be a very great option for people in regards to the cost and what you're being offered with all these quality parts, handmade in store by this one company that's made in the USA, which I think is great. I've seen it already. The way I'm kind of running this rifle is with the Holosun aims and the Vortex 3X Micro behind it. It's been a very nice setup to be able to run in regards to weight of the system. I made a video on both of these, and I'm going to link them below if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm also going to try to leave a card above. But just as an overview, again, this is a very, very nice platform rifle for the cost. They're getting a lot of really great quality features in a US made company that's a family run business, which I think is amazing. The point that I wanted to bring up again is that the customer service of this company was incredible, and that's not something that should be taken lightly anymore. That's something that's very valuable to be able to find, and they deserve credit where credit's due, and that's something I think that's very much worth mentioning. If you have any questions about this rifle or some other details you'd want me to point out, or something that you'd like to see specifically with it, please leave a comment below. I'm also going to reach back out to the company to see if there's anything else I'd want to be able to specifically add. So if you have any questions or any other information you'd like to be able to see, leave a comment below and I'll try to make sure to get back to it as soon as I can. This is Raziel Cohen with ndftraining.com. Thank you for watching.